Hello, everyone. Welcome to UCSC Silicon Valley Extension's new weekly webinar series, Job Market Insights. While we wait for everyone to settle in, let me begin to tell you a bit about your UC in Silicon Valley. We offer professional development courses and certificate programs for you to update your skills for today's job market. And we're the leading workforce educator in Silicon Valley. Our courses are designed by experienced instructors who are actually working in their fields. We serve new college graduates needing practical skills, people in the workforce looking to update skills or change direction, and lifelong learners interested in studying with industry experts in the heart of Silicon Valley. My name is Monica, and I'm the Outreach and Recruitment Specialist in the Marketing Department. Today's topic is about data science skills. There's a myth that data science is not necessarily my job, but in this database reality, just about every business strategy should be based on real numbers. Today, we have Bineet Sharma, a seasoned Silicon Valley technologist with more than 30 years experience in technical architecture, upper-level management, professional teaching, and entrepreneurship. Bineet has held a variety of leadership roles in all aspects of the software development lifecycle, including CEO of Cash on Ad, a mobile advertising app platform, and co-founder of OnTick, a technical analysis tool for stock market data positions. He also serves as the program chair of UCSC Silicon Valley Extension's Computer Programming Certificate Program and is currently an extension instructor. We also have Karishma joining us from the Bay Area. She is a people consultant at Cisco and has been there since 2016. She has held multiple roles with engineering and marketing and communications and has played an HR business partner role in helping business executives craft their talent strategies and make informed talent investments. She is here to serve as one of our panelists during Q&A while sharing any expertise in the data science market. Before I hand it over to them, we ask that if you have any questions during the presentation, please submit them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. We will then go over as many as we can after the presentation. If we don't get to your question, don't worry. We can follow up with you after the webinar. Also, if you have questions that you think of after the webinar is complete, feel free to contact us at extension@ucsc.edu. Thanks so much. Bineet and Karishma, take it away.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. And welcome everybody. And, I hope that it will be informative for you. And I was, enjoying making this presentation, and I hope you will get excited as I will be excited to present this. This is a very exciting time for data science. Think about, there is different types of, technology come and go. So this is the time for data science. This is the era for the data science. And we have not even scratched the surface in what we do today. So, where it will lead, how long it will go is still growing. So there is a lot of life in this one. So let me get going. So this is what we are going to do today. I'll introduce, the data science subject itself, what it is. Usually people think that this is not for me. Hopefully after finishing the presentation, you'll see that, there is something for everybody to think about, that you can jump in from somewhere, whatever is your background. And then I'll go deep dive a little bit on the really, what is the job outlook going to be? And for you to think, okay, I want to get started, I get excited, how do I get into? So that's what will be the kind of last part, and then we'll take your questions and answer at the end, okay? So without further ado, I'll get going with this introduction about the data science by showing you data science in action, how the data science is currently helping. What happens is, whether you knew about the word data science or not, we have been the user of the data science. We have been using data science in day-to-day life. Right now, also, we are using data science right here in this Zoom session. So behind the scene is the data science in the work, okay? So, today's context, I thought, putting it in here, if you look at this particular picture, it is from the New York Times a couple of weeks back. And when there was complete shutdown, United States was shut down, this is what it looked like. So look at the way, where people had no travel at all and where people are traveling. So the dark red color you see, the places where people were even traveling, and all the white and all that is you see that there was no travel at all. So you can think where would be the surge after the complete lockdown. Think about how this helped, how it is helping the frontline people for managing it. So think about that. What went on behind the scene to be able to bring up this kind of data for people to look at it. Visually is so very clear to us what's going on in the country. And you have seen it from White House about this prediction, how many people are going to die, how many are going to be infected, and all those kind of things. And we hear, the numbers are fluctuating from, 160 or 60,000 to like 250,000, and numbers are going up and things like that. Where do they get those numbers from? Who are the people who are giving those numbers to them? Are they just plucking from the sky? Not really. They are based on sound engineering, sound scientific knowledge. And you can see it in here, which are these different types of model, different ways you see those numbers coming, because there are different kinds of model which drives those. Okay. Lastly, there is not always a bad news about this COVID-19 shutdowns happen. Look at the pollution control, what happened when all of the vehicles were stopped in China. And that's happening to us also. If you go to San Francisco today, it's most beautiful. I asked my daughter to take pictures as much as possible in San Francisco area. She lives there because you'll never get those kind of things. So we need to see a little bit of positive on these things. But I want to reflect back in saying, how could we be able to immediately analyze this kind of information right then and there once we get this kind of picture? Really behind the scene, it is data science. That's what I'm trying to introduce here today. We are trying to introduce here today for you and see if there is some path for you to jump into this, okay? So without further ado, let's go a little bit deep dive. This is kind of idea about behind the scene, what happens and what is the effect of data science in the works, but you don't know how that really happens. So let's look at a little bit more detail. So we want to learn about, okay, what is data science and what really happens in a data scientist's world. Don't get, if you are not even in science or you don't even know any engineering, don't get alarmed by hearing this word data scientist. Hold on to that thoughts, until later. For now, I'm going to run a YouTube video. This describes a lot, okay?
Are you one of the many who dreams of becoming a data scientist? Keep watching this video if you're passionate about data science, because we will tell you how does it really work under the hood. Emma is a data scientist. Let's see how a day in her life goes while she's working on a data science project. Well, it is very important to understand the business problem first. In our meeting with the clients, Emma asks relevant questions, understands and defines objectives for the problem that needs to be tackled. She is a curious soul who asks a lot of whys, one of the many traits of a good data scientist. Now, she gears up for data acquisition to gather and scrape data from multiple sources like web servers, logs, databases, APIs, and online repositories. Oh, it seems like finding the right data takes both time and effort. After the data is gathered, comes data preparation. This step involves data cleaning and data transformation. Data cleaning is the most time-consuming process as it involves handling many complex scenarios. Here, Emma deals with inconsistent data types, misspelled attributes, missing values, duplicate values, and whatnot. Then, in data transformation, she modifies the data based on defined mapping rules. In a project, ETL tools like Talent and Informatica are used to perform complex transformations that helps the team to understand the data structure better. Then understanding what you actually can do with your data is very crucial. For that, Emma does exploratory data analysis. With the help of EDA, she defines and refines the selection of feature variables that will be used in the model development. But what if Emma skips this step? She might end up choosing the wrong variables, which will produce an inaccurate model. Thus, exploratory data analysis becomes the most important step. Now, she proceeds to the core activity of a data science project, which is data modeling. She repetitively applies diverse machine learning techniques like KNN, decision tree, naive Bayes to the data to identify the model that best fits the business requirement. She trains the models on the training data set and tests them to select the best performing model. Emma prefers Python for modeling the data. However, it can also be done using R and SAS. Well, the trickiest part is not yet over: visualization and communication. Emma meets the clients again to communicate the business findings in a simple and effective manner to convince the stakeholders. She uses tools like Tableau, Power BI, and ClickView that can help her in creating powerful reports and dashboards. And then finally, she deploys and maintains the model. She tests the selected model in a pre-production environment before deploying it in the production environment, which is the best practice, right? After successfully deploying it, she uses reports and dashboards to get real-time analytics. Further, she also monitors and maintains the project's performance. Well, that's how Emma completes the data science project. We have seen the daily routine of a data scientist is a whole lot of fun, has a lot of interesting aspects, and comes with its own share of challenges. Now, let's see how data science is changing the world. Data science techniques, along with genomic data, provides a deeper understanding of genetic issues in reaction to particular drugs and diseases. Logistic companies like DHL, FedEx have discovered the best routes to ship, the best suited time to deliver, the best mode of transport to choose, thus leading to cost efficiency. With data science, it is possible to not only predict employee attrition, but to also understand the key variables that influence employee turnover. Also, the airline companies can now easily predict flight delay and notify the passengers beforehand to enhance their travel experience. Well, if you're wondering, there are various roles offered to a data scientist, like data analyst, machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, data engineer, and of course, data scientist. The median base salaries of a data scientist can range from $95,000 to $165,000. So that was about the data science. Are you ready to be a data scientist? If yes, then start today. The world of data needs you. That's all from my side today. Thank you for watching. Comment below the next topic that you want to learn.
So I just want to tell you is, if we stopped right here and did not show you anything else, will you be disappointed? Because it was so much of information, in my opinion, that it should be enough for you to take a lot of things from here. So first of all, if you see the most important part, what she was describing is the business need. And businesses already have those data, okay? And based on the data, businesses may have some problems and they want to solve that problem. Or there may not be a problem, they want to enhance their businesses. For example, think about, Amazon, always was growing. Amazon was selling stuff, but they want to sell more. So what they did, once we bought something from there and next time we go there, we buy something, they will say, hey, somebody else who bought like your stuff is going to buy, they also bought this, they also bought this. They're suggesting us how they are doing it. Well, that's where this big, data scientists come in picture. They crunch the data, try to see how many people who bought this also bought that together, okay? And they're suggesting, and most of the time, believe it or not, we buy that. We say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We go buy it. So that's what the data science is. And you may think, oh my God, there are so many things he talked about. Do I have it or can I do it? Let's see whether you can fit into your skills or not. If you summarize what she's all said in that video, I would say 3 things comes in. And that's what they describe data science as 3 C's. 3 C's. What is 3 C's? be curious, okay, and have some common sense, and be able to communicate. That's three very core values of data scientist, okay? So do you have that? If you have it, and if you one of them lack some of them, or one of them, you can work on that to make it better. So think about what they really do at the end of the day. A data scientist is like this. First of all, they capture the data. You know, you have to get the data somewhere, right? And the data has to be, first of all, maintained, okay? And maintained and also processed. What do you mean by processing? First, you know, think about right now, we are creating a lot of data right now. We travel somewhere, we have GPS, we create the data. So these are very unstructured data. That data has to be, goes somewhere to save it. Think about that COVID-19 example I gave you in the first slide. That is coming from the cell phone data, where people were moving much, right? So that data in our cell phone has to be stored somewhere, but a lot of information is not needed from that. Only part of the information is needed. So somebody has to harvest that, you know. They clean the data, somebody has to maintain the data, and then they have to process it, put it somewhere, and then that data has to be analyzed by somebody else doing regression and a lot of other techniques available. And then that thing has to be communicated to the higher up, the stakeholders, to say, hey, this is what we see. And then the business leader and or organization leader or the company leader take action based on that sound science. So this is another way to look at it. It's a similar thing, but I give you in a different way so that you see in multiple different ways how this data scientists come in picture and what they do. So here is whole thing is a data scientist in here. And I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but I just want to show you is a data scientist, if you really think, is really not a one person when we say. It's the data science whole thing in one startup company, maybe one person. But in a big company, they are made of multiple people. So here, if you see it, there is a programmer, there's a business analyst, there's a statistician, business analyst, and then programmer, machine learning. There are multiple people who complete this role together, jointly they do, okay? So everybody has their role to do it. Smaller company, there is, one person may do everything. But as company becomes bigger and bigger, there are multiple people come in to do that task because the task is so humongous. It's like 3 or 4 trillion zettabytes we create every day. How we analyze that? We need lots and lots of people to be able to analyze that. Not only people, we need a lot of processing power. We need it, right? So it's a mind-boggling. So get to this one. What are the things they do? And now you can directly say that, okay, if we do those kind of things as a data science subject or data science in the job, what they result in. For example, if we do prediction, what happens the prediction? Sorry, it's jumping around, so my apologies. So the prediction is, based on value, is like, what somebody who bought this may buy this one also, kind of thing. Then there is something called a classification. They do that. They can say, hey, this email looks like a spam or not a spam. Many times those classifications are wrong. You have seen it. They classify something as spam and you go, oh no, that's not a spam. That's also data science. Then the recommendation, as I talked about, Amazon recommends it, Netflix recommends it, YouTube recommends it. Everybody's using that, okay? And pattern detection, grouping, our face recognition, right? Some actionable insights. After visualization, you say, oh, now I know what's going on in here. There will be numbers out there, but we don't realize it unless a deep dive analysis is done. So these are the things what the data science does in a typical day, okay? So now I'm showing you here. So think about this, these are the jobs, these are the things, activities a data science or people working in data science field will accomplish. So out of all these, you should think, okay, I want to join. How many of these kind of jobs are available in the companies? So this triangle or this pyramid really explains it all. What you should think of it is in lowest level of this pyramid, lowest level of this food chain, you might think of is the collection of the data. So first thing starts that we collect the data, and that data collection is happening right now. My camera is collecting data from me, right? Our computers are collecting, our cell phones are collecting it. All these instruments, my IoT, Internet of Things, this watch is collecting the data. So all of these sensors and all that are collecting the data. And this data has to move. Right now it's moving also, continuously moving and going into the data warehouse, right? And it is all unstructured data. So that moves on. Then that data has to be cleaned, right? And like some of the data is useless, we don't need it. Some of the data has to be, a little bit analyzed, and maybe then after that we need to aggregate it. You need to group together, aggregation for myself or my family or for the group of neighborhood in here, right? So that can happen. Then segmentation will happen. Out of that, then we are going to learn. We can apply algorithm. We say, okay, we want to do some kind of testing, A/B testing, and then we can come out of some kind of visualization there. Then finally, data can go to the deep learning state, artificial intelligence. From there, we can do what can be done for the future. What can happen? Some prediction and all that will come out of that. Okay. So this is how any business will do. So this clearly shows that if you are going to look for a job, so then if you think the job market will be more in here in this area than this area and this area and this area. Way up here is the machine learning. This one is the data science area, right? Data scientist area is the business analyst area, and these are the kind of data engineer area. These are business analyst areas you can think of. So there will be more of these guys, but kind of less of scientists. Okay, so let's look at a little bit in the perspective of what is the job prospect. So you may be in a different phases of your life. Many of us lost jobs, looking for new job, and some of you may be in the high school or coming to the college, in a different stages of your life, and we're thinking, what is my next step. So when you are anyway thinking about that, you want to have your judgment in a sound foundation. So you should think, okay, what is my next? So what I'm trying to show you here is try to think, where is the data science? In my humble opinion, data science is the job for next 10 years, 20 years and beyond, okay? The reason is we have not even scratched the surface of the data science capability. So many, even the big companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, they have the best technology, and they are the one who are developing a lot of technologies goes behind the scene of the data science. Even they are scratching the surface, utilizing the information they already have, the data already have. Data they have, some of the things they're utilizing, and sky's the limit. What can that lead to, even for the big companies and all that? So it is in a sound footing to be available. But again, don't take my words in the sense that that's what is your future and all that. But what will happen is it might morph in the sense that foundation will be there, technology will change a little bit, and here and there you have to grow with that. I'm not saying that it's going to be exactly what it is today, but you should be able to open to learning new technology and move on. If you are flexible to that, then things will grow with you. You will grow with this technology. That's what my point is. So here is one very interesting thing came out in 2012, believe it or not. For the 21st century, so data scientist is going to be, and this, you will find, if you Google it, you'll find this one everywhere. Everybody cites this particular study from the Harvard Business Review. And I don't deny that, because data science itself, the skills needed, the type of job they do is by many, many different person can do that. In math and statistics, if you are a programmer, if you are a database person, whether you have, you don't have any computer skills, you are just domain expert, and you can be in this field if you are domain expert. Because think about, if I am data crunching in the medical industry, I need a domain expert of medical industry, okay, in my group, in the data science group. And even I'm the big scientist and then in a group, but I am not able to communicate to my boss about what I find it, I will fail in my data science. So I need somebody who can communicate visually and have that visualization communicated to my boss, right? So a team of data science group needs lot of, a lot of different kind of personalities in that group to be able to do the data science job for a company, right? So there is something for, a lot of us. And as I said, all you have to do is stay curious, okay? And then, have some common sense and be able to communicate. But don't forget to, have skill set, be able to, go with the flow in the sense that understand that, oh, technology might change. I may have to go back and learn something new, okay? So my mantra has been always to everybody, stay curious to stay young, okay? And you'll thrive forever. So always stay curious. And, you can see some perspective, you can see these kind of things everywhere. If you have in LinkedIn, go in LinkedIn and see it, that, all of the data science, like machine learning, data science, business analyst, and all that, the jobs are going many folds, in LinkedIn, Glassdoor, anywhere you see it. And these jobs are lumped together in this out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have written there. So this sales and development and customer is not directly related to data science, but these three are machine learning, data scientist, and big data developer. And one thing also I just want to warn you is, sometimes companies, when they advertise, they may not be advertising exactly as what they need. But if you look at in the description and all that, then you will realize that, oh, this is for the data science, or this is for that part of it. Okay, so don't go with just the job title, but go into the details what they're describing. Okay, and again, another one to entice you, to show you that what is the prospect. If you look at it, 59% of all data science and analytics job, most of the demands are, if you look at it in here, finance and insurance, professional services, and IT and manufacturing. You add them up, it will come to 59%. That's a lot of numbers of job in data science related, okay, going forward. So, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's like the future, okay, for us, for foreseeable future. Okay. So this is the demand, meaning supply and demand, right? Everything, the price, everything is done by supply and demand. And look at here, demand is so high that universities and training center institutions are not able to provide that many of the data scientists, okay? So there is always a gap, there is always a demand, very, very high demand. And good or bad, there is a lot of attrition also. Once you find a job, if you got a skill set and people keep on moving out. That's bad for businesses, but good for the people. And it's nothing bad, it's like, it's a high demand. And of course, it's a little bit, it requires you to spend some time also. So, you demand more. So lastly, I want to say, go a little bit more for you to see what are the titles available and what are the skill set you need to have for these titles. This will give you more guidance and in what exactly you need to do to be able to get this data science job. So again, this also gives you exact same perspective. Data science is the core, but think about it in periphery. Everything leads into data science is business understanding. You have to have a business understanding. And that is also, part of the data science. Then data mining, meaning you are collecting data, you are cleaning data, you are exploring data. Then the engineering part comes in, okay? Then the real, data scientist come in picture, is machine learning and visualization part of it, okay? So everything leads into the data science. So if you go, title by title, and again, in the beginning, I alluded to you is, some of the companies may collapse them depending upon how big is the company, or they may have more of them. They can have data analyst 1, 2, 3, they may go by that. Again, based on a company size, everything they can lump in one and say, hey, you're a data scientist, okay? So they may do that. But anyway, if you look at it, if you want to become data analyst, if you become data engineers, data administrators, so what are the skill set you need to have? I have listed in here for you to think. Say, data analyst, you have to be able to, learn a little bit of ways to, go through the data, extract the data, and then move the data, things like that. So, SQL is relational database query system. Most people have it, not necessarily you have to have all of them. Here it is, there's so many things I've written in here. Don't mean that you have to have all of them. In many cases you can start with, if something you want to start with, it will be Python, okay? So you need to have a little bit of technology, and Python is, you will see that if you Google on data science job or any other courses you want to take it, Python is, first requirement. So because it has a lot of libraries, very, very easy. So you can start with that. If you want to become, data engineers, that means you are learning the technology and moving data, you are in the repository and all that, then you have to go a little bit more and learn more technology. You should have some programming, Java, C++ will help you. And then, they go with the non-structured data also, something called NoSQL. Again, these are new things you may not know, but if you go and, inquire a little bit more, you will see what they do, okay? So if you see, if anywhere you see the commonality, look at it. There is a Python here, there is a Python here. So there will be Python in many different places will be used. Right here, data and analytics manager also has a Python. So these are, most, top level job skills. You will need it to be in the data science. And here it is, data scientist is in the top of the chain. And again, I think what you should not think of, do I need all of these ones to be able to do that? Not really, as I told you before. What you need to do it is to get started, you need to think, what, I want to get going, but how do I get started? I'll first show you this one and I'll go back. What you need to do it is, you need to think of where I am, what I know, okay? And where I want to go. And then with this knowledge, trying to see yourself, what are the techniques and technology you already know, what are the skill set you need to do it. So you can start with the junior level, depending upon where you are. You already have some engineering or some, other math and science degrees. You can get going and then start PhD in the data science. That's not a problem, okay? And you should think about that. But suppose you don't have any one of that and you want to start as a junior, learn something statistics, learn some, programming classes, and go from junior to a little bit senior, then go to the little bit of principal level. So you need to see that, keep on improving your skill, and you can start from bottom and go up. So again, I told you here, and then I'm showing this slide one more time to show you what you need to do. It is you need to think, well, what are the things among all this skill set I showed here? I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. In this skill set, where these guys fit in this pyramid. So you should think, okay, here, no doubt, this side is definitely is a machine learning. In here, you need very, specified, very, high skill set. From here to here is general data science. These are the one who could predict, the future, visualization and all that. Then here is like a, it's kind of blurry. You can think of data engineer, business analyst, and all that come in this area, okay? And as you go, you'll find that a lot more jobs are available in this area for you. And, equal number of jobs will be in this area, and it will go as you increase your skill set, you can, go up in the ladder to go, it depends on what is your interest. Many times you think that, oh, I don't know math, so is this data science still for me? And yes and no. So math, if you say, I don't know math, don't mean that, you can count, right? You can do a little bit of Excel spreadsheet, right? So some logic, some, has to be needed to be able to do that. But don't mean that you've got to be expert on this to come to this level in here. Believe it or not, a lot of people use, SQL type of program in many of the businesses. And they don't even know what goes behind the scene. There will be SQL, but there is a drag and drop objects for them to create some logic to extract the full data. What happens, some tools are created for those kind of people who cannot write logic themselves, but there are tools available for those kind of things. So those kind of jobs are also available in this area, okay? So again, depending upon what you want to do, you can just jump in, okay? So lastly, I want to talk about, if you want to get started, where do you really get started? So I just categorize a little bit like this: entry-level jobs path, okay? If you see what are the jobs you are looking for in the entry level. I call it entry level. It may not be entry level in some companies. Business analyst, database administrator, data analyst and all that. If you want to be that, and you have some kind of associate degree or, or bachelor degree in any discipline, and you want to get into this entry-level position, then what could you do it is get some individual courses and go with this list. Sorry, again, I'm going back. Go with this kind of list. And again, you don't have to go with my list. Go Google, these keywords, you can utilize it to find out, and then you'll find a lot of individual courses around the Bay Area or around the world. People have, institutions have a lot of individual good courses are available, so you can go to those. And then also there is a certification. Certification are a smaller, like 3-4 courses put together just for one purposes to make you a data administrator or make a data analyst kind of thing. So you can take those kind of certification. Or there are some associate degree available. Many universities also have a bachelor's on this kind of, MIS kind of, degrees and all that. You can do it to get into, okay? Second one is, I call it mid-level, where you need a little bit more specialized certification, a little bit heavy duty. Maybe it will be like 6 months certification or a year certification and all that available. And if you already have a bachelor, go for a master's on these kind of things. If you want to become data engineer, statistician, and things like that. And if you want to go top tier, in top tier, definitely master's is a must, okay? Most of them will require you to have a PhD. And if you already have master's in something, think about going for PhDs. You know, spending 2-3 years for doing your PhD or halfway is not a bad idea. These are, you know, well spent time to get a PhD in this field, okay? So that's what your path will be, okay? With that, I think I want to rest my case and go for Q&A, okay? And for Q&A, Karishma will be joining me. Thank you, Karishma. And Monica, you take it away from here, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bineet. All right, so it looks like we do have a few questions. One recurring one that I want to address real quick is if we'll be receiving a recording. So we are recording this session and we'll provide a copy of the slides as well as the recording by Friday. Just check the email address that you used to register for the event. You can also take a look at our YouTube page, which I'll link in the chat box. So looks like, so one of the questions we received is, as an undergraduate student, what are some good ways to make myself an appealing candidate for prospective employers? Outside of university classes and clubs, are personal projects beneficial? And what kinds of skills are a must for entry-level positions or even interns?
I can take that one. Hello, everyone. Nice to see so many people joining us. Before I answer this, it's a great question, a loaded one. I will break it down, but I just want to clarify. I'm from Cisco, but I'm not representing Cisco in any way today, but happy to shine a light on any of the questions that are coming through. So for this one specifically, you know, as Bineet shared very clearly, there are really 3 skills that you can think of. So the engineering skills, the computer science, coding part of it is always good to have. Statistics would be the second one to have. And thirdly would be communication. And specifically for communications, it would be skills to be able to influence and story tell with data too, so that you can influence some of the strategic decisions that are being made. You know, outside of university classes, extracurricular things are always good to show on your resume. So showing, you know, and the employer any deep learning in Excel or coding in Excel that you've done in the past. Additionally, I don't know if you've heard of Kaggle, but it's a website. It's the way it's spelled is Kaggle. It's for data science competitions, and it's basically a community-based learning that helps data scientists and machine learning practitioners. So you can use Kaggle to learn, but also to simply observe other expert data scientists doing their simulations and see the way they think about certain problems and why they're doing it, and break it down for yourself. And once you become an expert, you can also compete and you can enter in competitions with other experts. And that might be a good practical example to show your prospective employer of, you know, the things that you've done in a real world. Outside of that, I think the other thing Bineet mentioned is to show yourself being appealing and one up the other candidates that are there. Domain expertise could make you stand out. You know, if you're going for a technology company, having that domain expertise may always make you stand out, as well as obviously always showing a quantitative mindset of kind.
Excellent. Thank you, Karishma. So the next question is, how do older software developers obtain jobs in the data science field?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will say you already have one of the key skills, which is coding. Being a software developer, you already have one of that. But outside of that, I would encourage you to take some learning courses, either to a formalized certification, through either UCSC or any other courses, or do some personal learning on statistics as well as storytelling with data. I personally know that Udemy is a great starting point for learning an introduction on statistics and learning any kind of basic fundamentals on statistics. Degreed is a great learning platform for any like management and strategic communication. So if you're looking for any communication and influencing skills, learnings or whatnot, Degreed might be a good one. Lastly, you could also, go above and beyond and tap on your network of professionals and see if you can be introduced to fellow data scientists. I think that's been one thing that's always worked for me, is to pick the brains of the people that are already in the industry and see if there are any available opportunities or if someone would mentor you through the course.
Excellent, thank you. In the future, as jobs are getting automated, which skills will still stay superior to humans in relation to data science?
That's a great question. So I was in a meeting, one of these in this week, and I heard a statistic that blew my mind, but also something that made me happy. So this statistic was, machines will automate 20 million jobs by 2030, so in 10 years. And I'm a huge proponent. The reason why it made me happy is because I am a huge proponent of, the robotic chores to be automated so that we as humans can free up our mind space for more innovation, because robots cannot innovate. But in relation to data science, I think the coding and the statistics part of it might be made easier and quicker to tackle through automation, but the communication and the domain expertise part of it is, I think, where humans still might stay superior. In a room, being able to articulate the theories and the hypotheses that you see on that machine and putting it in business context, that's going to be crucial. Like, as an example, if the machine is telling you, do XYZ over a 4-year period to show an uptick of 20% revenue, you're not just going to take it and do it, right? That's where you come in. You will be looked to validate what this machine is saying and see if it is or it is not the right thing to do based on the business and the historical context that you have in that domain. And in that room, you're going to be the trusted advisor to, narrate the story and tell the executives what to do.
Excellent, thanks, Karishma. The next question is, we have actually quite a few questions, so we'll try to get to as many as possible in the next 10 minutes. I think I have about 13 in the queue. So the next question is, I have a biotech degree. Are there data science related jobs in biotech?
Huge. I think my first slide would tell you biotech job. If you think of it yeah, again, same 3 C's: be curious, have a common sense, and so think about that. What happens is that biotech has got so much of data available, so you need to be able to sign on that area. You may be given some task in a biotech, depending upon what you're doing. You might be doing some testing or whatever. But if you are curious and then you want to, if you learn more about that data, you should be able to transition into something in that same space, same domain space. Mm-hmm. So the point what Karishma was also saying is that domain expertise is the thing, And I tell my students, the adult students who come to UCSC is, don't think that you stayed in one company 5 years is a waste. Think about how much the domain expertise you gathered on that particular industry, right? So you already have a domain expertise in biotech. What you need to really look at even in your own company, what they're doing with that data with them. So yes, definitely you can transition into the biotech, and to the data science in that area.
Excellent, thanks, Bineet. This one seems to be coming up a lot, so I'm going to combine some of these questions. It looks like Charles is asking, I don't really have a strong math background. Will that be a hindrance? How much math do I need to do for studying data science?
I'll take that also. So yeah, that's a huge question. It's like, and I always fought with that. When my kids were going to kindergarten, even the teacher would say, oh, math, kind of thing. So that math phobia is with us, okay? And I don't blame anybody to think that way. But here is the thing, math is your friend, okay? Make math a friend, Having said that, I'm a teacher. I know that, we can all learn everything. Having said that, what I want to say is math is needed for sure, but here is the good news. And I'll share with one story. I don't want to be too long because we have to get through many of them. I also keep on taking classes, believe it or not. Last time I took a class in machine learning in UCSC, and the teacher was teaching us Python and the math. I said, oh my God, I forgot the linear algebra. Guess what? The Python has got so many libraries. If I have to multiply two matrices and all that, it's always there. Is all I had to do was just use it. So nowadays there are a lot of tools available for you to, not go to the deep of the math if you really want to just use it. So yes, you will need it, but there are tools which will let you, utilize that, so.
Excellent. And it looks like you started talking about this a little bit, but another reoccurring question is how much coding is required? Probably depends on the field. And
yeah, again, that's, like a Venn diagram and all that, if you see it, data science is the intersection of all these things, in the sense that a programmer is circle, then there is a math circle, and there is like a visualization circle put together. In the center is the data science, okay? So if you say, do I need a lot of math? Not really. Do I need a lot of computing power? Not really, but you need some. You need some to be able to do it. So that's why I said, if you want to learn the simplest computer language, start with Python. Really, it's English-like. It should not, and then it is used so much, you will be rewarded very well, okay? So yes, you need it, but not so much that you are going to be a coder, heavy-duty hackathon coder and all that. You don't need to, okay?
excellent.
Yeah, and I will also,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry, Monica. I will also add to Bineet's point, you don't have to be good at all the three things. You don't have to be like a master coder, a master statistician, and master communicator. You have to be able to at least have one of the two or two of the three do really well, because ultimately you're going to be put in a team, and a team of other people who also know how to do it. So you're not going to be the only one playing to that. So don't hinder yourself and hold yourself back if you think you know one or the other better or less.
Yes, good point. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. So Dan Jerry, his question is, I noticed the energy industry is not listed below in where the jobs are in data science. Is there a reason why? Two-part question. And how can a data science find and collect data in a company where data does not really exist?
Oh, I think I'll take that also. So first, in the energy, believe it or not, energy needs it big time. If you are in California, try to think when we have a fire season and all that, and they will just cut off our power. Okay, think about it. Where that information is coming to them to cut off our power during the fire season. That's the data. That's the data science. They collect the data, they predict the data, saying which area is going to be high wind and where there will be much more chances of getting fire. And they just take it off. Not only that, think about the demand of the power. The heat wave is coming, where the heat wave is going in which direction, and where will be the power surge requirement needed so that they can divert the power in that which area. So definitely there is a lot of data science needed for the energy. Lastly, about if data does not exist, okay. In today's day and age, I don't think that data does not exist, but they may not be collecting the data. Okay, that's what I would say. there may be data will be in the paper, lying somewhere, and that may not be in the computer. So I remember I was, crunching the data about the mountaineering, expedition in Nepal, and the data was all in the filing cabinet. So I created a database for first to enter the data in the computer so that it could be analyzed, right? So yeah, if data is not there, what do you do?
I mean, it almost sounds like you just said, there is data, but maybe it's first digitizing it. Yeah. Find where is it?
in fact, I'll piggyback on that, Monica. What you said is, think about it. That's a job, and in fact, that job was also there. I gave somebody to enter the data, so
yes.
Data becomes a job for you. And then you can just show that, hey, if you enter the data, you can analyze it, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
That becomes a job.
And then you build and build and build, and there you have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
And I think like that's where also like your structured thinking comes into play, right? Like your management and business expertise will come into play where there are gaps and you need to analyze something, but you can then look for, okay, I can go to X and A and B, and I'm going to get all of my data sets and create that. So that is also the first step of data collection, is making sure you are going to the right sources to get that data.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a couple more minutes and we have so many questions. So I'm sorry to everyone. I'm going to try to ask two more, and the most common ones. So one reoccurring one is basically, do I need to graduate with a degree to be a data scientist? If not, then what do I do to basically career pivot and pursue a data science career? I know you touched on it a little, but maybe if you could elaborate.
Do Karishma wants to take on, or I'll take on? Tell me, Karishma.
I can start, and then please add on, Bineet. I would say, firstly, see for yourself if you're enjoying data science. And I think the first flavor of that, you can do some of the things that we've already mentioned, which is, go to those learning courses, like take on learning statistics, like at least the basic fundamentals. Go on to Kaggle. Kaggle is a website that, you can, you don't have to have the expertise, but you can just observe and learn through very practical examples and see if you're really enjoying it. And once you are, then you can probably go into getting a more formalized degree of some sort, or directly going into a company and seeing, what they think of your skills. But Bineet, feel free to add.
No, you said exactly right. And that's what I would say, that first really see it is just not because there is a data science job out there going to be, don't jump if you are not enjoying it, right? So how to do that? And guess what? During my time, I didn't have this much of resources. Now you guys have a sky's the limit resource. You can take a lot of free courses, take your feet in the water a little bit and see, hey, is it for me? Can I do this? So, and then believe it or not, don't go to any other sites, go to some EDU site. A lot of good universities has got a lot of good, courses out there. Take one or two free courses and see how you do it, And believe it or not, there is so much of requirement that, some of the company may hire you without even any degrees, depending upon your domain expertise, okay? If you are domain expert, take one or two courses, get your, water under the water, and then, go from there.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then let's go ahead and just ask one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. So the field of data science has broadened significantly and ever growing in new innovation. Would you suggest focusing on a particular aspect of machine learning or artificial intelligence, such as natural language processing or reinforcement learning or tuning neural nets? Do you have a sense of where to focus, or?
So repeat again, what was the first part of the question?
Yeah, the field of data science itself has broadened significantly, and it's ever growing with new innovation. Right. So basically, would you suggest focusing on a particular aspect of machine learning and AI?
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Again, as that, if you remember my triangle, you need to evaluate yourself. where you are, okay? And then see, which part of the skill, at least couple of skills you already have, okay? Say there are 5, 6 different skills needed, and you see that, okay, I have couple of this one, and this is most, intersecting with this particular one, whether it is, AI, machine learning, what have you, okay? So see that if there are at least some of them are already, fused with yours, intersects with your interest, then you can start on that line, okay? If it is completely out and you are not even sure, then you start in the bottom where it intersects. And then from there you tag along and say, oh, now I think I can build up something more on this and then go from there, okay? So yeah, again, I don't think that you should, suddenly jump on something right now, especially if you are adult learner, you already have a degree, you already have a job, or you are in between jobs, then you need to align yourself with some of the, harvest something you already have, enjoy that, okay? And then work on that one. That's how I would say, for now. That might be a good idea to do.
Thank you everyone again, and thank you Karishma and Bineet for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.